That's right, folks. It's Joe, and I'm back for another masterful review that will reveal the mysteries of the universe to you. If by the end of this video you still don't understand the aforementioned mysteries of the universe, then watch it again, and then watch it a few more times, and then maybe like and subscribe, and then the mysteries will definitely be revealed. After a few more rewatches. Anyway, I have already reviewed the two Alan Wake games in existence in our universe, and I finally got my hands on Alan Wake Remastered. So, now it's time for an in-depth look at Remedy's most recent game, Control, the kind of sequel to Alan Wake. I'll explain that later. First of all, Control is very different from the Alan Wake games, but it is a fantastic game in its own right. It is a head trip, to be sure, an adventure that is as philosophical and psychological as it is action-packed and exciting. Grab your service weapon and your altered items and get ready to take flight to the edge of sanity. Also, for those of you wondering if I'm going to do a Quantum Break review, I would absolutely love to. If any of you are willing to send me a free Xbox One or a way better PC, then I'll get right to work on that review. Until then, enter Control. Control is the story of Jessie Faden, a young woman on a mission to unravel a mystery involving her own life and really reality itself. Something happened to Jessie and her brother when they were children, and she's been trying to understand what happened and find her brother ever since. After years of searching, Jessie finds her way into the oldest house, the headquarters of the Federal Bureau of Control, or FBC. Not to be confused with the Federal Bioterrorism Commission from the Resident Evil games, which is also called the FBC. To avoid confusing you about this, every time I say FBC, I will flash these words on the screen. I'm sure you were very confused before, and now this has cleared things up immensely. Anyway, Jessie enters the FBC and meets a strange janitor who points her to the director's office. After the mysterious death of the previous director, Jessie becomes the new director of the agency. This role is transferred to her when she picks up the service weapon, a pistol-like gun that can change its form. This weapon is only given to the director of the FBC, a director who is selected by the mysterious board, an upside-down pyramid that calls the shots at the Bureau, an upside-down pyramid that exists in the astral plane. At this point, I think you have enough information to understand the most important thing about Control. Control is a really, really weird game. The very first line in the game is Jessie saying, "This is going to be weirder than usual." And she is not kidding. This game is strange. It will play with your expectations and your mind, and if you're anything like me, you will love every minute of it. The main conflict of the game is Jessie fighting an entity known only as the Hiss. The Hiss possesses people and turns them into zombies that Jessie must fight, with her service weapon and a litany of fantastical powers. Throughout the story, Jessie attempts to protect the Bureau and the world from the Hiss while unraveling the deeper mysteries of the FBC, her brother, and reality itself. It is a rich and complex narrative that had me engaged from beginning to end. Jessie is an instantly likable protagonist, and I wanted to keep playing to make sure she survived her dark and disturbing adventure. The story of Control is a slow burn mystery that unfolds throughout the main story and the dozens of files and audio logs you find scattered throughout the game. Once everything comes together, it is pretty much guaranteed to blow your mind. In all honesty, the only problem the story has is similar to Alan Wake's only problem. The game's ending is way too abrupt. At the end of the game, there is a not very interesting series of fights instead of a boss fight. These fights culminate in a really short and unsatisfying cutscene, and then the credits start so fast I thought for sure it was a false ending. This is helped greatly by the two DLC expansions that you can play in the post-game, which add a great deal of story for those who felt dissatisfied by the original ending, like myself. Still, the main story has an unfortunately disappointing conclusion after such a fantastic build-up. The game definitely peaks with your journey through the ashtray maze, which is one of my favorite sequences in gaming history. The characters in Control are interesting, in more ways than one. They are eccentric and colorful to be sure, and you will almost certainly find them charming, but they don't really form a cast of characters alongside Jessie. They act as really funny and strange exposition machines. They get little bits of development through dialogue trees, but Jessie is the only character the game seems to be concerned about, with the exceptions of the janitor Ati and Jessie's brother Dylan. This actually seems like a conscious decision, and for me, it works, so I don't see this as a flaw. Standout exposition machines include the always inquisitive and adorable Emily Pope and Helen Marshall, the defender of the FBC, who gets a little more development in the Foundation DLC. You also get to know the former director Zachariah Trench through a device known as the Hotline, and you get to learn about the controversial Dr. Darling through different files and videos you find throughout the map. Overall, the story and characters of Control completely worked for me. The world is one that I wanted to get sucked into and learn more about, and I'm sure you will too. Let me take a brief moment to address something I know you want to hear about: the Alan of it all. Or, how does Control connect to Alan Wake? Well, to go into too many details would be spoiling a great deal, but know that the game contains several files and Easter eggs that show Alan Wake is part of this universe. Also, the game's DLC expansion AWE centers around Alan and what is going on with him in the Dark Place. I will forewarn you that Control raises more questions about Alan than it provides answers, but getting to see Alan again and get hints about his eventual return is an absolute joy. Don't miss out on Control if you want the full Alan Wake picture before the hopeful release of Alan Wake 2. Now we come to the gameplay. Control's gameplay is a massive departure from Alan Wake's, so if you think your Alan Wake skills will transfer over, think again. Control is all about moving quickly through the battlefield. There is no cover system, though you can hide behind objects from time to time for a quick break. Jesse's service weapon is a powerful tool that can change forms into different types of guns. It can be a basic pistol, an Uzi, a shotgun, and a grenade launcher, making it a highly effective weapon. But the real star of the show are the psychic powers you will obtain. You'll get telekinesis, levitation, a rock shield, mind control, the works. The only way to win against the Hiss is to make effective use of Jesse's gun and abilities in tandem. The service weapon has infinite ammo, but if you use it too much, it will have to recharge. Your abilities are massively useful, but if you rely on them, you'll run out of power and have to wait to use them again. This forces you to strike a balance between the gun and your powers, which gives combat a fantastic strategic feel. You can use mods on your weapon to make its different forms more effective, and the upgrade tree makes your powers more devastating as you gain skill points by completing parts of the main story, as well as very entertaining side missions, one of which involves a possessed fridge. I'm not joking. Control's combat is frenetic and exciting, but sometimes overwhelming. There were many moments where I had no idea where enemy fire was coming from, and times where death just felt unfair. Maybe I'm just a whiner, but that's how I feel. Sue me. The game looks fantastic, with detailed environments and character models, but the frame rate drops often on PS4, especially during combat. Also, exploring the oldest house can be a bit confusing at times, since the map is quite unclear and really borderline not helpful. Some of the collectibles are also nearly impossible to get to. Well, mainly one that involves stacking vending machines, which you are probably very familiar with if you've played the game before and tried to 100% it. The fast travel system definitely helps make exploring less frustrating. Also, the puzzles in the strange world of the Ocean View Motel are both overly simple and frustratingly vague, but they are only a brief hindrance to moving forward with the main story, so they didn't bother me too much. In all, Control is an incredible game to play. It has some minor issues that are very easy to look past when you have an experience that is this amazing and engaging. So what's the verdict? Control is not only a kind of sequel to Alan Wake that will leave you more excited than ever for Alan Wake 2, it is an incredible experience all by itself. The story is strange, complex, engaging, and often hilarious. The characters are interesting and help greatly with world building and comedic relief, and the gameplay is some of the most fast-paced and exciting combat you'll experience in the action genre. Yes, there are a few minor issues with the ending, exploration, and certain puzzle designs, but Control is just too good for any of these flaws to really detract from the amazing work of art that it is. Control is definitely a 9.5 for me. If you want to learn the secrets of the FBC and the board, if you want to learn the truth of what happened to Jessie and her brother, if you want to see what the heck Alan Wake has been up to for 10 years, then don't hesitate to psychically levitate yourself into the weird and wonderful world of Control. Alright, so there you have it. My fourth Masterful review is complete. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, If you still don't understand the mysteries of the universe, be sure to like, subscribe, and watch the review again, and maybe my other reviews, and then those mysteries will make sense to you. Next up, I will be reviewing Max Payne, and probably later Max Payne 2, in order to close out my reviews of Remedy's major games. If you are still wondering about Quantum Break, then please refer to earlier in my review. We are almost there, my friends, and then we'll see what new horizons we can strive for. Alright, that's all for now. God bless you guys, and I'll see you on the morrow. It's a little bit better, still not right. Bye!